Hi, Kim West, the Sleep Lady, and in this video blog, I'm going to answer Janona's question. Here's what she wrote in. Hello, Sleep Lady. My baby girl is 10 months old and we're doing the shuffle for a week now. In fact, tonight it's going to be our 8th night. My daughter had a very strong nurse to sleep association and I had to wake up 8 to 10 times a night to get her back to sleep. I was so very, very sleep deprived that I could not finish a sentence or eat or do anything but dream about just a few hours of sleep for myself. So I stopped nursing at night. Our pediatrician said it was okay. And I still nurse her at bedtime, but before the bath, so there's no window between the nursing and going to bed. She goes to bed awake, she falls asleep on her own, no pacifier, and she gets enough food during the day too, since I stopped feeding her at night. Her naps are a whole different story, but I'll do the nap training after we're done with our night training. So the shuffle has been successful considering that she does not wake up that often anymore. However, she still wakes up twice a night, and last night she would not go back to sleep for an hour and a half at her first awakening. Her awakenings are usually 11 o'clock or sometimes 12 and 4 a.m.-ish. Is it normal to be awake so long? I finally had to pat her bottom a little bit last night and she was very, very upset. And also there were nights when she would not fall asleep without much complaining, and yet there were some where she would not settle for 2 hours. Why is that happening? Am I doing something wrong? Okay, Janona, you gave me a lot of great information here. I'm wondering whether a couple things, whether the poor naps is leading to, all you said was it's a whole different story and not going so well, and that you're probably trying to use the nurse to sleep crutch. And I'm wondering if those poor naps are leading to the night awakenings, and whether she's inadvertently telling you, Mom, you're going to have to nap train me too. Because this happens, and some kids it happens quickly, others, takes months, that you start working on the night, you start getting some progress, and all of a sudden the crutch that was working for the naps don't work anymore. I think you need to reconsider starting the nap coaching too. Unfortunately, I know it's very tiring. And then the other thing is I want to make sure that either that when she's waking up and you're going in, you want to make sure that you're not doing what I call sealing the deal. Okay, so it can be very subtle and simple, meaning you go in after, X amount of time, you can tell that she's really awake, and you go in and you maybe pat her bottom a little bit too much, as an example. I only say that example because you did mention the patting her bottom. And so she's sort of looking for you to kind of finish it for her, like, help me over that edge, Mom, and get me back to sleep. So make sure you're not doing that. So a lot of times what happens with parents is they're sitting next to the crib, they're giving a lot of reassurance physically and verbally, and then they move away after 3 nights, but they find themselves getting out of their chair a lot, going over to the crib side and patting, even if it's just 30 seconds, and then they go back to their chair. So then they defeat the purpose of moving away, because in the end, you're going back to the crib to help her go back to sleep. Okay, so I want to look for those very important things, and of course make sure at bedtime that the same things aren't happening, that if you're really sitting over by the door, which is what I would assume on night 8, that you're staying in your chair more than you're getting out. Okay, so that she's learning this important skill at bedtime, and most of all too, that she is awake enough and the bedtime is early enough. Okay, Janona, good luck.